I would like to start this presentation by remembering a place that is so exciting to so many runners, the finish line. I've run for the past 25 years. I started when I was 16 in high school cross country and track. And along the way in my life, I've run all different kind of distances, from several 5Ks all the way up to a few half marathons. But my favorite memories weren't actually approaching the finish line from the inside of a race. They were on the other side, when I was volunteering for races in the finish line corral. One race that comes to mind always is the Ellis Medicine Cardiac Classic. It's a race that's run on Thanksgiving morning in Schenectady, New York, which is a city in upstate New York I used to live in, and the proceeds benefit the Ellis Medicine Heart Center. 1,800 people come out and participate. And standing at the finish line of that 5K, my job was to congratulate all the runners that they came in and then kneel down at their feet and take that chip timer off. And I got to see the first finisher of that race, the winner. And that was such an exciting moment to see him cross the line, and his stride was so fluid and beautiful. And as I knelt, I congratulated him and took the chip timer off. And that was a great experience. But some of the greatest experiences I had in that race were actually at 30 minutes, at 35 minutes, at 40 minutes. Seeing the runners come in and they're breathing hard, and the expression on their face is so beautiful. They would come sometime in pairs, and their arms would be up, or they would be holding each other's hands in victory. And it was just victory. It was this beautiful celebration of what they'd just done, that they were able to use their legs and their arms and their entire body to help people in their community, to raise money for the cardiac center. And even though they were out of breath and couldn't tell me their stories, as I was kneeling down and taking their chip timer off and looking up into their faces, I congratulated them, and I saw the stories of the hero that triumphs, that overcomes, that are told and retold in our culture, in their eyes and in their faces, as they recognized what they did for themselves, and how their work that day helped them in the community. And I also bring to mind the story of my best friend, Kristen Stevens. She lives in Manhattan. She has a family there, and she ran the 9/11 Memorial Run. And she told me at the finish line, her finish line of that 5K, she felt so amazed and so sad. And that journey, that running journey, took her in Manhattan along the path that she imagined some people who were killed in 9/11 had done their running on previous to the terrorist attack, and how that running that race had impacted her so deeply and allowed her to celebrate their lives. And I personally have done running for charity, and one of my favorite finish lines was this one. This is a picture of me at the finish line of the Saratoga Paleo. It's a half marathon that's run in Saratoga, New York, and proceeds go to fund scholarships for young men and women who are studying for mental health careers. And the race was like any half marathon races. Some miles are just awesome and you're skimming along, and some miles are heartbreaking. And at the finish line, I knew that I was able to make a difference for people in my community. I am a Roadrunners Club of America certified running coach, and I'm a massage therapist, and I am going through a 200-hour program that will result in me being certified as a meditation instructor. And the best 2 hours I spend out of every week are as an assistant coach volunteering for an organization, a nonprofit called Girls on the Run. And we help elementary school girls in our community to develop a lifelong love of running, the same that I have. I'm able to help foster it in them. We have practices and we run every week for 2 months, and then at the end they all get to run a 5K. So they have that feeling of accomplishment, and I'm really touched that I get to help share this lifelong love of running with them. But even though I've been a runner for 25 years, I haven't run every month of that time since I was in high school. I've had times of burnout and times when I just didn't want to lace up my shoes. I didn't see the point. I definitely didn't see the point in registering for any races, running any races. And for me, it was returning to memories of running when I was younger, when I was a child, just doing my best and exercising my body and feeling that beauty helped me grab onto that thread of my love for running and reinvigorate my passion for the sport and get back into it after periods of dryness and burnout. I learned about a concept called the compassionate coach and the critical coach last year when I took a program. It's an 8-week meditation program called MPEAK. It's offered at the UCSD Center for Mindfulness. And compassionate coach and critical coach, I believe, is definitely involved in runners burning out or not burning out, and how inspired we are to keep on running year after year. It's definitely had an effect for me. I've seen it in my life. And I can think of that. We can think of that by just thinking of how was our running this past week. Just thinking of this past week. There's 2 types of stories that could be going on. One runner could be focused on getting that PR, knowing what time she has to run in that race, who she has to beat, figuring out who her adversaries are and whether they are going to be at that race or not, and how that impacts whether she can feel good about racing that week. Thoughts that would happen when she has a bad workout. What is the internal dialogue? Critical coach would be that voice in our head that says, you're no good. You're fat. You're not fast enough. You're not as good as you used to be. They're going to beat you. And some scary thoughts like, if you don't keep beating yourself up every day, you're going to lose your edge. And if you're not this way, if you're not critical of yourself constantly, that someone else is going to come and they're going to beat you, and you're not good enough. So you can't ever have any kind of compassion for yourself. And I think that a lot of runners unfortunately, I think we think that way. And over the long term, that leads to burnout. It makes you want to give up having that attitude. And I think there's another way. Another runner can have an equal amount of good runs, bad runs, good workouts, but they're focused on how their body feels, enjoying the process of running. If they have a bad workout, it's not the end of the world. They're not going to quit. They can find the strength to be compassionate with themselves and keep on their schedule. There's a way for them to use running to benefit their community. If that's charity running, if that's dedicating your running practice to someone that you love, to someone that's suffering, someone that means a lot to you. And focusing on your wellness, focusing on keeping your body healthy. And I first recognized that when I was 39 years old. It's kind of funny. I've been running since I was 16. And it took me till 39 years old to really figure out the role of my compassionate coach in my practice. And my husband decided to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. And I said, I'll go along. And in order for me to get the strength to do that, I was hiking every weekend in the Adirondack Mountains. And at that point, I knew I had to value my wellness, or my body was not going to be able to take in all that training. So I got a massage once a month, and that was really hard for me at first because my critical coach had been telling me something that I had listened to ever since I was 20 years old. And that was that I didn't spend a single penny on my wellness. I didn't spend anything on my personal wellness unless someone else could see it. It was a special occasion, or I was going to end up going to the doctor or the hospital. Those were the only 3 occasions that I was allowed to value my wellness in my body and my heart and my spirit. I could get my nails done. I could get a facial. I could get my hair done because those were good for my career, my professional image. And I could get a massage if it was a special occasion. If it was my birthday, I could get a massage. It was a treat. I wasn't treating myself well every week of the year, but if it was my birthday, I could get a special treat. And that was improving my wellness. And it's really scary. It's kind of funny to think of because I'm on the other side, but I think a lot of athletes are there. I think a lot of people are there, that their wellness isn't a priority because they are just, their mindset is that they have to just be strong and like push through it. And that's the kind of athlete they are. The athlete that has the critical coach is in control of every workout and every thought process. And I actually have the picture here. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I got to the top. Here's a picture of me at Uhuru Peak. And I won't say that I climbed to the top. I didn't get to the summit because I got a massage every month, but I got to the summit because I started respecting myself. I respected my wellness. That's what got me to the top, is my compassionate coach was put in control. And so it changed my life. meditation is a common area in my, it's something that I do for my wellness. Massage is something I do regularly for my wellness. And I put my compassionate coach in control of my running. And it's made all the difference for me. And I think it can make a difference for other athletes out there who are burned out or struggling to find the beauty in their movement practice, in their running. So this speech, we've explored some roadblocks to having this beautiful, energizing running practice. And we've thought about the impact of the critical coach and the compassionate coach on our running and on our life. And I've shared some inspiring stories on how you can add compassion to your running practice by running for charity. And so I would invite you, thinking about everything that we've thought about today, to consider running your next race for more than just chasing a PR.